Gaming this year has been a roller coaster, and a lot of it has changed the industry for the better. And Eternights is exactly one of those games that really shows gaming has a lot more to offer, especially from indie studios who show more care and more nurture and more value to gamers, right? Eternights is a beautiful 12-hour love and post-apocalyptic story. Studio Psy, man, has now become one of my most favorite indie dev teams out there. They introduce us to our protagonist, which is you, the player, and your best friend Chani, as you guys are two single men, single well-fine gentlemen, who are looking for love in dating apps. And shit hits the fan immediately as the world is ravished into people turning into zombies under a deity controlled named Umbra. Your goal as the player is to save the world with the power of Lux, the main competitor to Umbra, wife up a waifu or husbando of your choosing, and kick Umbra's ass, the main antagonist of the story. After the opening cutscene, we learn that Lux and Umbra are basically gods in this game world. We are captured by Delia, a servant of Umbra, as she chops off your arm, which introduces players to Lux. As she gives you her power to fend off Umbra forces, the gameplay will then split into a couple of segments. You have your main gameplay, which is a hyper-stylized combat quite similar to Devil May Cry. Like, you could use Dante's Stinger ability, which basically projects the player across the across the field, or even Virgil's three-sword ability. And with enough damage, you can then utilize an ultimate move, or an elemental fist that the game calls it, which reminds me of Persona's special attacks in the game for like the setting everything up and casting. And the game offers this badass scene which turns into a small quick time event to make sure you get the maximum amount of damage and that you don't actually fail the attack. And as well as throughout your time in game, you will meet characters in the game such as Yuna, Sia, Min, and even Johan, and of course you have your best friend Chani, and with you being the main protagonist, which they take on very essential roles during your time playing. As your main protagonist is your main fighter, as the enemies will only attack the player character. Yuna will be your heavy support, helping you with heals and other techniques. And finally, Chani being your best friend, his power is also a simple support, which helps boost you in more passive ways. Sia being ice focused, Min being more lightning focused. Then you have your dating sim parts of the game, which is similar to other dating simulations like Doki Doki Literature Club. There's Dream Daddy, Honey Pop, and shit. Players can even rizz up one of the three waifus and even a husbando. Finally, you also have the persona side of things, like the day and night cycle, spending time with the other characters. Relationship and bonds is another huge persona feature, as increasing your relationship with the characters, you yourself get stronger, therefore leaving Eternights to be a beautiful blend of the three games. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the graphics and sound design. Overall, the graphics is for Eternights is a more anime focused, especially with the specific cutscenes and how the characters portray themselves during the conversations. And you can definitely tell that anime was one of the main inspirations for how things play out, kind of similar to like that of Persona and other games like it. Eternights takes you on this anime emotional ride, especially with the soundtrack. The soundtrack has this very chill lo-fi vibe to it. And that right there is already appealing to me because I really like lo-fi music. As you guys could tell, I have lo-fi playing in the background of you guys hearing me speak to you. Overall, probably a banger soundtrack. I will be listening to this soundtrack well after they actually make this game. I'll find somewhere on YouTube Music. I think they dropped a 1-hour lo-fi mix on it. If I find it, I will actually drop it in the comment section below because I need you guys to hear it too if you guys haven't already, especially when you're on the train and you're just chilling, and oh my god, it's amazing. Of course, like not as the point of like Persona soundtrack, because Persona has a banger soundtrack, but just a chill vibe in this post-apocalyptic game. I like it. It's a cool vibe. I really like it. Now let's move on to the story. Now, I did speak a little bit about the story earlier in this video, which is great. Now, I really am not going to spoil this story, but let's just say this story has completely destroyed me. It really pulled on my streams, but this overall level of story puts a lot of the new modern era of games to shame. It's been a long time since I really had a game truly grabbed me emotionally and pulled on my heartstrings. Studio Side deserves hella amounts of praise for this, and they deserve a lot of rewards, whatever type of recognition. Hopefully I'm doing my part and showcasing this game a lot more to a bigger audience and stuff like that. When it comes to pros and cons, I really don't have too many cons to say about this game. I think the most I can say is that the level designs or going throughout the dungeons got a quite bit boring and bland when it comes to the designs, and that's just overarching. Like, they all fit a different theme of where you're going to, but it just felt a little bit boring, and it was just, I was able to easily pass by some of the enemies. The level design, like I said, not the greatest, but to be honest with you, I can care less. It's not a big, huge deal breaker at all. You can easily tell a lot of the game was more combat focused, which was great. As long as the gameplay is fun, that's all that comes down to it. The relationship building is also great as well. The huge inspiration to DMC, Persona, and the dating games that come before really let this game shine in its own way, and it's just a nice, healthy blend between the three. Now, my overall thoughts on Eternights is a rather positive one, as this game is quite a breath of fresh air for me. I love DMC, by far one of my favorite franchises in gaming history. It has completely fluid gameplay. I love having the fun moments with the characters, spending time with the characters, scavenging for different items with the characters, kind of learning more about each character as you progress through the story to see who you really want to romance, right? If you're a fan of Persona games and it has that same feeling to it as you travel throughout the dungeons or the different locations, kind of like Persona 3's Tartarus or Persona 5's Castle, so on and so forth, while you're trying to get to the end of the game. But the true gameplay is pretty much what's outside of the fun combat, and it's pretty much the dating sim part and just building your relationships throughout the game, throughout my 12 long hours of this emotional roller coaster that I felt. The game is currently sitting at an MSRP of $30. I did get it on sale at $27. Like I said earlier, for the price of this game has given me a better experience than most games in the past few years at a AAA price. A message to Studio Side: you guys made a great game. I cannot wait till I see what else you guys do. The ending had choked me up and I cried. So I hate you for it in a loving way. You guys did a good job. You deserve a lot more recognition. And for indie teams nowadays, you have really shown that you guys can join and be toe-to-toe with the big dogs out there. This type of game right here, as little as it is, for as small as it is, for 12 hours of a fucking banger-ass game, banger soundtrack, you can sit there and match some of those big names out there as well. I can't wait for your guys' next video game. I can't wait for it. I would definitely happily buy it. I was happy enough to buy this game. And, you know, for that, you guys deserve all the praise that you can get. So what do you guys think of Eternights? Is it something you will pick up for yourself, or if you already played it and want to talk about it then? Because, man, I feel like I need to talk to somebody about this ending. I can't talk about it in this video because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you have beat the game or anything like that, join me in the Discord below. We could talk about it afterwards. Or Studio Side, if you guys are watching this, please, I need to talk to somebody, bro. But if you guys want to check out another review that I did, then go check out my Sea of Stars review from another indie dev team that pulled out another banger for this year as well. Make sure to subscribe to your boy because I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get it by the end of the year. And definitely like the video if you caught a vibe, felt chill throughout this entire video. But as always, it's been your host, KSDTV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.
Manifest. I don't sleep, that's so weak, don't plan to rest. I'm from a hood where you die if you don't pack a vest. No culinary degrees, but whipping crack the best. Chefing, hard times taught lessons. Praying every night to pull up and park Benzes. What's my home is what you call trenches. You wouldn't last a day seeing life through all lenses. It's all tension, no sun and rain and plenty. Full-time job, still can never make a penny. I ain't rapping for